Good afternoon, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and speak to you all at what is a really exciting time in mining. So at BHP, our purpose is to bring people and resources together to build a better world. And to do this, we know we need a portfolio that is future fit and positioned to generate value for decades to come. Now, we hear the terms technology and innovation a lot because it's a period of great change in the world. The pace of change driven and enabled by technology is increasing. Mining is going through an exciting period where, like other industries, the rate of new technology adaptation is high. Technology is providing our industry with the opportunities to lift the economic value of our resources, and we know that this will require new technology with new maintenance and innovation. BHP see the role of maintenance evolving in the future of mining, and today I'd like to share how we see the leading edge and interface points between maintenance, technology and innovation, both the opportunities I see that we're all facing today and the challenges and the new environment which is fast approaching. So at BHP, our focus is on safety, productivity and sustainability. Productivity remains our single biggest lever to extract more from the resources and assets that we have and grow value from the business. Our BHP operating system, coupled with our centres of excellence, will ensure we safely and responsibly drive productivity. We see opportunity at the intersection points of maintenance, innovation and technology. And there's three key opportunities I'd like to cover off with you today: data and technological innovation, operational efficiency and cost reductions, and the co-development role of OEMs and strategic partners. So firstly, as an industry, we need to actively embrace technological innovation to build portfolio resilience and reach greater heights of productivity. And as a mining engineer, that makes me pretty excited to see how far we've come already. Our shareholders are not only focused on the composition of our portfolio to meet the world's needs, but they also want confidence in their long-term returns. We've determined and proven that the most effective way to unlock innovation through ways of working or through technology is through our centres of excellence and our BHP operating system, which really empowers the front line. This enables us to take ideas from the teams that physically execute the work on the ground and assess these opportunities at a macro scale, really ensuring we're understanding what those continuous improvement opportunities are. And then conversely, we can ensure the high quality execution of maintenance activities on the ground, delivering to strategy and as planned. But because we know that that really is the money step and it's so critical to actually deliver quality execution of the work. Through the Centre of Excellence, we hold that tension, healthy tension on this performance, and can drive macro continuous improvement into our global operations. And we can do this consistently at scale and pace. For me, technology and innovation I see as our means to go even faster and work smarter at driving that, embedding that improvement away from the busy noise of an operation. You spend your time in the operations, you can really get that sense and feel for how busy it is trying to deliver in the day. Over the past few years, we've strengthened our capability in data access, data integrity, and machine-assisted data analytics, which sits alongside our globally common approach to asset management, to centralised maintenance strategies and governance. And these all live in the Maintenance and Engineering Centre of Excellence. But what does it all mean? I've spoken a lot there in depth. Really what it means is for common mining equipment, you take an ultra-class truck, we essentially trade off the right balance between the risk of a component failing, the costs, and the equipment performance at an enterprise level. We then centrally govern and optimise these equipment strategies to ensure that we are driving global best practice performance across our operating footprint. And we've built up a substantive central archive of data and intelligence using systems like Iron Man, and this has enabled us to achieve top quartile truck performance across several of our Australian operations. So we can now mine our data in the same way we mine our commodities. So with the foundation of centralised data and strategy governance, we've developed proprietary tools and in-house capability that uses artificial intelligence in our decisions along the value chain. These models are fully integrated into BHP systems and frameworks at an enterprise level, but they're clever enough to adapt to the high altitude operating conditions of a mine in Escondida, all the way through to one of our high quality metallurgical coal mines in the Bowen Basin. Both open cut mines, but very different mining, haulage and dump conditions. We apply these models to support our decision making. The models help us run advanced analytics using things like APM and dynamic system modeling to predict supply chain performance. And then we're able to pressure test that supply chain to anticipate potential deviations in performance or compliance challenges that might be on the horizon. And this allows us to take action early before a problem presents itself in the day of operation. So it's really defining new ways to operate and maintain. And I think autonomy is another good example of this. So an autonomous site faces a range of complications, including interactions between manual and autonomous vehicles and obstacles between the machinery itself and other objects. It's a highly complex and dynamic environment with lots of moving parts, which can make it difficult to predict the root cause of weaker performance across a fleet. So this is where condition monitoring and sensor data attached to these assets becomes even more important to help us work smarter. We take these tens and millions of data points into a machine learning model that does the hard lifting for us, identifying factors correlated with good and bad performance. That performance is then mapped over time to predict variability across the mining system as we flex our operating conditions. And then this allows us to optimize our equipment strategies and drive rapid improvement back into the system in the areas that count. And in a very recent example, it allowed us to increase productive movement by 10% per annum in one of our Australian autonomous operations. The next area I'd like to talk to is cost efficiency, which is a constant focus in mining. I don't need to tell anyone in the room that one. Maintenance is one of the biggest drivers of operating costs globally. We know that predictive maintenance minimises unexpected equipment failures and costly downtime, making our operations more reliable and more resilient. When we can accurately predict when equipment will require maintenance and we can schedule repairs during planned downtime, we can minimise production disruptions and costs. And for me, this is where I see the opportunity. We have predictive analytics models running across most of our load and haul fleets globally, as well as our materials handling systems. These models are developed and maintained by a small footprint of people sitting in the MECOE, and it provides real-time and long-range indications of machine health and potential failure or degradation that could be coming on the horizon. In our West Australian iron ore operation, one of the material handling facilities was challenged by ongoing vibration and materials handling impacts, which threatened to shorten the structure's lifespan. So through our technical centres of excellence, we developed a scalable framework where hundreds of gigabytes of sensor data were processed to diagnose and solve for the challenge. And this is way faster than any human brain could. In fact, it enabled us to identify other locations in the fixed plant where we could make changes to prevent the same risk from occurring. So whilst this is a seemingly small example in isolation, it's one of the many examples that in aggregate support assets like WAIO to maintain strong reliability and the best cost performance amongst iron ore producers globally. The third opportunity is technology and innovation that is delivered with BHP and our business partners. And I think this is one of my favourite of all. This is a rapidly emerging space for BHP, which is changing the way that we work. A good example of this is if you look across our decarbonisation efforts, where displacing diesel at the scale of BHP is not just about buying new equipment. The sources of our Scope 1 and Scope 2 greenhouse gas emissions are mixed. And this is why our decarbonisation pathway is non-linear and relying on new technologies that are not yet commercially available. So our approach here is to collaborate with our OEMs and others across the industry to accelerate development, where, for example, we partnered with Caterpillar and Komatsu to collaboratively develop commercially viable zero-emission mining trucks, And you might have seen some of those up on the BHP LinkedIn page recently. But the important point here is every part of the mine will be touched by this change, particularly maintenance. Diesel displacement requires a whole new operational ecosystem to surround the fleet. Changing the energy source of the trucks will change the way we maintain and manage our equipment. And if I help you visualize this change a little bit, and it was something that really blew my mind when I first heard it, was let's take the battery in a large electric haul truck. It may have around 10,000 individual cells that need to be mapped, monitored, and maintained. And when you scale that up to the size of BHP across our global footprint, the magnitude of data intensity, management, and evaluation that we're introducing into the maintenance world is nothing short of remarkable. And I think another good example is at Jansen in our potash business. We've partnered with Sandvik to pioneer a world-first ultra-large underground borer. And again, for all the mining engineers out there, they're like, wow, this sounds amazing. But, for this one here, it's 10 times the size of a typical system with 3 times the number of process sensors and 10 times the number of asset health sensors. And for me, I really genuinely think that it's these kind of collaborations which will accelerate industry's rate of development. And I really do see those partnerships becoming, stronger, forging them more closely into the future. Our centres of excellence position BHP to navigate and realise these opportunities, both those in our existing footprint and those in greenfields expansions like Jansen. Now, there's lots of opportunity on the horizon, but we also see some challenges. The first is investment costs. The remote nature of mining operations, coupled with the industrial scale, requires a high investment cost to ensure we've got the right technology infrastructure and connectivity. The reality is that investment must be made into existing operations and infrastructure, which requires a phased approach constrained by technology readiness, capital, and the supply chain. The second challenge is future skills and technical expertise. We increasingly need more people with digital skills sector-wide, from innovators to the front lines of production and maintenance. We need to bring workers on that journey. We simply don't have enough of them. And this isn't just a challenge for BHP, but industry alike, as we draw from the same talent pools. The third challenge exists in global supply chains. The future is heading towards increased global supply chain demand for technology components and future-facing commodities. We saw a recent example of that disruption in the car and the motor vehicle industry, where semiconductors impacted new production rates for vehicles. These are all areas that BHP is navigating in the here and now through our strong capital allocation framework to prioritise funding, through to our Future Fit academies that are helping us grow skills, trade skills that were brought on by technology and decarbonisation into the future. But again, I want to make that really big point that strong partnerships with communities, vendors and OEMs will be pivotal to solve for the pressures on the end-to-end supply chain and that future skills capability. So I've spoken a lot about the nearer term challenges and opportunities, but we are watching and thinking about the next horizon. If we all stood here together in, say, 10 to 15 years, the operating environment for BHP would be very different again. We expect to see the quality of data sets to grow exponentially as we deploy next generation devices and sensors that capture more data in real time. These always-on advanced devices and sensors across our operations will provide a real-time view in a 3D space. The ability to harness this data will be underpinned by the ongoing expansion of our digital backbone in areas such as next-generation networks and edge computing. We expect network solutions such as 5G and low Earth orbit satellites to provide high bandwidth, low latency connections in all areas of a mining operation. Closed loops, AI-driven automation and predictive maintenance will help us to achieve new heights of asset performance as we respond to the early warning signals and optimize strategies in real time. And for our people, a world where we leverage responsible AI to augment our workforce, driving even greater productivity and cost efficiency. and most importantly, above all else, remove people from harm's way. For our supply chain will stretch beyond the AI tools we use today into an era of quantum and space-based computing, allowing us to sense and rapidly respond to supply chain demands to any location in our global footprint at any time. These technologies present exciting opportunities that will fundamentally change the way that we work in the future. And, while I stand here and contemplate the future, this technology and approach to maintenance will be the norm for workforce generations to come. And I'm looking forward to that future dinner table conversation with my kids where they laugh about how we used to do things in maintenance and mining 10 or 15 years ago, because I know those conversations will come. But let me conclude and leave you with this key takeaway. The leading edge of maintenance, technology, and innovation will deliver the next frontier of mining productivity and will so more rapidly. As we apply new technology and at pace, it's going to require new innovative maintenance practices and new skills in our people. The opportunities for data and technology innovation to deliver even greater cost efficiency is huge. And more importantly, it will make our work environments even safer. Our OEMs, local suppliers, and other partners will play a pivotal role at setting the pace at which this future arrives. The future for maintenance is bright and exciting, and thank you for taking the time to hear my perspective today.